Welcome to the Midlife Mom Podcast. So, this is a great topic that I'm going to be talking about today. The topic is improving communication with your teenage and adult children. As humans, we desire to connect, and we sometimes are really good at communications, and sometimes we struggle with it. And there's different skills that we can learn that can help us to better communicate, especially with our kids. So I thought it would be a great podcast to talk about this and talk about a skill that can help to improve communication with our children, particularly our teenage and our adult children. And this is a listening type of skill called reflection. So you might ask, what is reflection? Basically, it is repeating words that someone is saying, but you're doing it in a way that uses your own words. Often, when we're talking with people, we are so focused on what our response is going to be that sometimes we don't fully catch and listen and hear what the other person is saying. Reflecting is a skill that we can learn that helps us to hear the other person and to help that other person feel that they're being listened to and understood. So, when starting to practice the skill, it may feel a little funny. You may feel like you're just repeating back what they're saying, but with practice, you can get really good at it and it can be something that just flows more naturally. So, it might be helpful to give a few examples of what this might look like in communication. I have a couple of hypothetical examples that I will share with you. So, the speaker is a teenager, and the teenager is saying, I don't feel like I'm trusted because you never let me use the car when I want to go out with friends. So, the parent can reflect this back, and they could say something like, you would like to use the car to go out with your friends, and you feel like we don't trust you because you're not able to use it. And then asking them, is that correct? So basically, the parent is taking time to understand what the teenager is saying. The temptation is to jump in and explain yourself of maybe why you're not letting them use the car. Maybe you've seen them drive and you're worried about how they drive, or maybe they've been in a car accident or whatever. So the temptation is when they say you don't trust me is to jump in and say, well, this and this and this and this, and offer an explanation. But if you can take time to really listen to them by reflecting back what they're saying, then it can open up the conversation for a discussion afterwards, after you have reflected back to them what they're saying. So here's another example of something that maybe an adult child might say. I'm worried that I won't be able to pay for school next semester. And then the parent who knows that this child maybe has been playing all semester and they haven't been putting a lot of effort into working and making money, instead of talking about that part of it, they could say to the child, so when you think about next semester and the upcoming payment for that semester, you're concerned that you won't have enough. And then you can say, is that right? Or did I understand you correctly? That way, the child has a chance to correct if maybe there was misunderstanding on the parent's part. So, do you kind of get the idea? It is intended to repeat what the child is saying in your own words and also noticing the feeling that's underneath it. Another example, there is a teenage boy that is saying, I'm real worried that my girlfriend's going to break up with me. I feel really sad about this. I can't believe she'd think about doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then the parent might be thinking in their head that this isn't a really good relationship anyway. And this would be a good thing if the girlfriend breaks up. But the parent isn't going to say that. The parent wants to reflect back, oh, so you're really worried that your girlfriend may break up with you and you're feeling really sad about that and you don't understand why she might break up with you. Is that right? Is that what's going on? And then the child can say, yeah, this and this happened and then this and this. And this communication has been opened up. Now, after being able to reflect to the child, that's when the parent can then say, hey, are you wanting to talk about this more? Are you wanting to talk with me about finding a solution? Or did you just want to share it with me? Because sometimes they really aren't looking for a solution. They're just feeling emotions and they want to express them. And they're feeling like maybe you're a person they can come to and express it. And so if you can reflect it back, then they feel like they're seen and heard. I had this happen a few years ago where one of my kids was expressing some concerns about something that was coming up. And at the time, I was trying to offer solutions. I was saying, well, maybe we could try this, or what about this, or what about this? And I could tell that this child was getting frustrated. And then I realized, wait a second, Lisa, you could be reflecting back to this child right now what their experience is. And so I did. I started saying, oh, so you're really concerned that when this event happens, that this and this and this may happen. Is that right? Well, yeah. And then they shared a little bit more with me and like, oh, okay. So if this happened, then this and this and this. And I just sat there and just like really listened to them. And I could see that they calmed down. And after that, then I was able to say, well, do you want to talk through a couple of solutions? And at that point, they were open to it because I had taken the time to hear them first. When starting to practice reflecting, again, remember it may feel kind of weird or it may feel different, but here are some tips that you can remember or think about when you're practicing reflecting. One of them is the tone of your voice. When you reflect back, it could be kind of like a question or uncertainty, like, so you're concerned about this and this and this. Like you're kind of uncertain and you're looking for clarification, but you're trying to understand. So the tone that you reflect back to them is important. Also, not trying to be perfect when you are practicing reflecting can also be important to remember. It's more important that you're trying to understand what they're saying. Also, be aware of your nonverbal language. Like, are you looking them at the eye? Are you leaning forward? Are you really trying to hear what they're saying with your body language? Also, when trying to reflect, you may have a child that's saying lots and lots of things, and you're not trying to grab all of the details. You want to just grab the main points and the emotions connected to it. So, reflecting back what you hear them saying that they're worried about, or whatever the feeling word is, and then also just the main points. Don't worry about all of the details. Now, what are the benefits of reflecting? It increases the listener, being us, ability to understand the other person. It also gives the speaker, which could be our children, the ability to clarify what their thoughts are. Because sometimes when they're expressing them, they're trying to sort through it in their head. And as they say it and you reflect it back to them, it gives them clarity on what's going on for them. And it also may lead them to solutions just by being able to have that communication with you. The other benefit is it shows that you are trying to listen and understand them. It shows that you care. When someone feels like they're being cared about, they feel more connected to you. And so it can improve the relationship as well. The other thing is, as you're reflecting back, it can also give you time to kind of think about what they're saying. So, just to summarize, the skill of reflecting, it is used to help improve communication. Reflecting is a way of being able to help another person feel seen and heard by you, and it really can improve relationships. I encourage you to practice this and just try it out. Try it out with your kids, try it out with your spouse, maybe try it out with a coworker, and just see what the response is. And if you want more information on this and you want to go research it, just research the skill reflecting. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. I hope that it helps you with the communication with your teenager or your adult children. And I hope to be able to do more episodes related to communication skills in an effort to support relationships. I will see you next time on the podcast.